friends on YouTube, gonna do this beautiful young lady her hair. Now I washed it before, because that was very important. Normally I do this. She wants a perm, a color and a haircut. Brush it with Olivia garden brush. And the time of the year she loses a bit hair. Most women do this in this time of year because it's autumn, and then you have this. By taking vitamin B you can take a bit away of that. Start to put on the protection.
Luxe.
Ja, zeker. Een loop bandje eromheen. Gonna work with perm rollers that click into each other. And they work like this. You take one, then the other clicks into it, and you work like that. So you don't have a rubber band and you don't have to use sticks. So less damage to the hair. Starting on top. And just roll them in. And the first roller you always secure with the other roller. So you take it in, take the other roller and click it on it. And so do all our hair. So all the rollers are on our hair. So now I use a carton wick around it. Take the first roller up and take it down again. Then around some beautiful ears. Don't pull them off. Smash. We have one famous Dutchman who has no ears.
Yeah.
His name is Vincent van Gogh. But he took out his own ears. Why?
And
I
he
don't
didn't
know.
survive.
Huh?
And he didn't survive.
No. But he painted nicely.
Yeah, that's true.
So now I take my perm lotion. My perm lotion is of Keunen. It's the 0. Start applying it on the hairs. Put every time a bit on the hairs and then go back afterwards. And when you see the hair glowing because the perm lotion is laying on the hairs, then you know there's enough on the hairs. The nice thing of this perm lotion is that it doesn't smell that terrible. So it's very nice to work with. And it comes in small bottles, so you have every time enough to make a wonderful perm. And you can hold it, but when you want to save the fluid of a perm lotion, it's the same with peroxide. There's a little trick. You can hold the quality of the product. I'll show you that in a second. What I do then is press it down and then put the closure on it. So it seals and it has a vacuum on top. So then the quality of the product stays wonderful. This, when this is on, I put my plastic foil over it and then wait for 50 minutes, control it. And then afterwards I tell you how much time it took to get really nice perm curls. So now I go back to my first rollers and just watch, and then I see it laying on top of it, so I'm certain I have enough. The wonderful thing about this rollers is that you can also, when it's a bit thick, put a bit in the center of it, so it comes from in and out, so you certainly always reach the ends of the hairs. So now I see all the rollers shining, so I know there's enough fluid on the hairs. Then I close my foil. And when you do a perm, it's very important that you don't have airflow into your salon. Because when you have airflow into your salon, you're certain that there where the air comes from, your perm will stay cooler and you have less good curls. So that's why you always beware of airflows into your salon. On this I put a towel and then we can wait for 50 minutes. Set an alarm, so I'm certain that I'm going to watch after 50 minutes. We'll be back. After 50 minutes, the perms were controlled and they were wonderful in curl. So now I'm gonna rinse out the perm lotion. This I do with medium hot water and it takes about 5 minutes. Starting on top, always, and take your time. It's the most important step in a perm. Better no curls and have good rinse out of the perm lotion than without that, because when the perm lotion gets into the stabilizers, neutralizers, it will damage the hair that much that it can break up. So that's why water is the most important thing in a perm. Now it took 5 minutes to rinse out the perm, so now I dab the rollers and take away as much water as I can, and then start by fixating. And when you start fixating, it's the most important thing. You start in the underlines, not in the upper lines, because it's a peroxide also in it, and the O is given away to stabilize the curls, because you have two H and they are open and they have to be together, so you have to use the O to connect them, and that's what you do with the first step. And then you neutralize it, and then you can also put a coloring on it, but then only on 2%. So now I start with the neutralization and fixation. Fixation is the first step. Starting on the lines, working up to the top. Hold center as last, and this has to stay in for 5 minutes. And also here is important that you see the hair glowing. So you know there's enough of the lotion on the hairs. In the meantime, when the customer lays in the sink, it's not the finest thing to do. You could always take a towel, set her a bit up, and put the towel on the neckline, so it drops on the towel, not on the person. Now the 5 minutes are gone. If I take out the under rollers, nou je mag wel even recht blijven zitten. So take out the first lines. Just drop them in the sink, that makes life a lot easier. And start till I get just above the skull bone. And first apply a bit of the fluid on the hairs. Then go a step higher. And always wait this till the last. And this also has to stay in for 5 minutes. then I rinse it out. Okay, now I'm going to cut a bit of her hair because I want to get the most curly hair, and then you see this length is too much. It will curl, but not that much because she has fine hair, and the length I want to leave as long as possible. So we create some layers in it. Starting at the front. Mostly you can see the damage on the hairs. And I'm cutting it in a point cut technique, so you get a nice soft line. Look. Take all the lines to the front, knowing that I have a layered hairstyle, because when the front is higher up than the length on the back, you always have layers. So I take all the lines on that.
Een stuk minder geur hè, van deze.
Ja, het is echt veel fijner. Wat dat betreft is er echt een verbetering. So now I have the lines on top from the front Tonal to the ears cut. So now I can lay them to the back and connect the back to that. Because then I have the length from here till there. And this is also the length I need to get on top. Take the hairs up. I take from the front Tonal apart, take it up. Lay the half aside, so I have still a guide. Take away the dry ends of her hair. Dry ends don't curl. And you can hear I work on good hair, because there you can hear the snipping of the blades. On the back I take the hairs to the front. Connect them. Now go to the sides. And just turning around. Take every time about 1.5 centimeter of hair and just work like a clock. Ga je vaak naar dat soort optredens?
Nee,
Geleiden?
het was eigenlijk gewoon een impulsieve actie.
Aha. Was het wel een leuke impulsief?
Ja, het was heel gezellig.
Oké. Ja, maar het is wel een beetje Brabants-Limburgs humor, hè?
Ja, het is... Maar de sfeer is gewoon heel leuk.
Ja.
Binnenkort gaan we nog gewoon eens om in de Limburgse sfeer te
Ja,
blijven.
ja, dat is helemaal mooi. Maar ja, het gekke is, je kunt al die liedjes meezingen inmiddels, hè? Want er is zo best wel veel op de radio.
Dat is ook.
Vroeger hoorde je er helemaal niks van, maar tegenwoordig zijn ze echt wel gewoon Nederlandse cultuurerfgoed. Ah, dat ziet er wel een stuk beter uit. Het is wel een beetje moeilijk te zien te schatten. Ja, de lengte van de bovenkant. Hè. Niet van de lengte, maar van de lengte. De lengte is nog niks af.
Van de lengte niet.
De lengte is niks af. Going from the back of her head in the lines of her eyebrows and connect to the line of cutting. Holding as much length as I can. And do this of course on both sides. Then part in the opposite lines over the skull and the hairs, set the sides away and go to the center on the back. Set her head a bit to the front. And cut off the dry ends. And here is just coming off about 1.5 centimeters. So the length will look longer afterwards. Now I'm ready with the cut. So I cut her a layered hairstyle with hairs on the back. Now I'm going to color her hair. And yeah, sorry, we're all back closing, but also the cape. But when I dry her hair, this is also for protecting because all the things are wet. And it's still, of course, the water of the perm. But the perm is totally out, so it smells, yeah, just clear. So no smells that I don't like. So now I'm going to make her a tonal color, and that's on 2% base. So it doesn't damage the hair, it's the same as fixating, neutralizing. That I put on, and then her outgrow will be also really nice, and then I put another cape on to style her hair. I made of the toners, I made a 3-0. So I know for sure that it's dark enough to color her hair. Starting on top. And the wonderful thing of the toners is they nurse also the hairs. So you can easily do this together. There's no ammonia in the product. And just applying this. Leave it in for 15 minutes till 20. I'll just see what happens, because when you leave it longer it becomes darker and darker and darker. So the most longest time I will use is 20 minutes. Okay, we're back. So now I can style her hair. I use from Attitude, a new product especially made for curly hair. Spread it over my fingers and then gently massage it into the hairs. And I'm going to dry it with the diffuser, so to create a lot of curly hair. Work with the diffuser, take the hairs up and just take the time to dry the hairs. So far blow drying. Now to nurse the hair I take Crystal Turn. Crystal Turn is a product of Tonal. I like it a lot because it's a very clean wax and it smells really nice, but it's also nursing the hairs. The nice thing about this product is you can do it every day into your hair and it don't greases hair. Even on greased hair. I think this is a nice rough perm. Looks natural, not stiff and a bit funky. I thank you for watching. I thank her for being my model. She will turn so you can see the end results. Bye bye. Nou, lekker bos haar hoor. Stoer hè?
Top.
Mooi hè?
Ja.
Je hebt een hele bos haar.